and welcome to another teaching from TorahFamily.org. We are a family-based ministry that believes the whole Bible stands forever, that all of it is based in the Torah, and all of it promotes the Torah. Please visit us at TorahFamily.org for more teachings like this one. We hope this teaching helps you learn and grow in the faith. Men of Yahweh, Chapter 5. Kings of Queens. This chapter is dedicated to all the wives. Well, maybe not so much to them, but rather to our attitude toward them. I want to start this teaching off with a very important phrase. It's a phrase that I've said for years, and I truly believe it. It's something that we as men need to be reminded of quite frequently. You ready? Here it is. If you want your wife to treat you like a king, then you need to treat her like a queen. This is something we need to remind ourselves of every day. That's right, every day. Consider Colossians chapter 3. Husbands, love your wives, and do not be harsh with them. While a good marriage is definitely a two-way street and effort is needed from both partners, I want to only address that which we as men can control, that being the part that we are accountable to. Loving our wives. How do you love your wife? Do you ask yourself that question ever? Seriously, don't you think we should ask ourselves that question? On any given day, have you ever asked yourself, how have I shown my wife that I love her today? If we don't ask ourselves that question on a regular basis, how often will we think about that question? Our wives, next to our relationship with Yahweh, should be our first priority. So, do we make her our first priority? I want to share a story that I heard several years ago. The story is based in biblical times, and it's titled The 7-Cow Woman. It goes something like this. There once was a man who was looking for a wife. Yet, he didn't just want any woman. He wanted that one that was perfect for him. He looked high and low, and it seemed he was searching in vain. Until, that is, one day when he arrived at a certain small village. He saw this one particular young maiden and thought to himself, she might be the one. He kept a low profile in town and informed everyone that he would only be staying a while. That was the time he wanted to watch the young maiden. It just so happened that the father of the young maiden invited the man to stay with his family while he was in town. After a week had passed, he approached the father of the maiden at the city gates for his daughter's hand in marriage. Because they had the time to get to know each other, the father was quite happy at the proposal. Not just because he liked the man, but also because this particular daughter of his was considered only a fair young maiden, as she had no physical beauty. The time came for them to arrange the price that the man would pay for his bride-to-be. The custom in that time was to pay for your bride by way of cows. That's right, by cows. The father knew in his heart that he would most likely only get one cow for his daughter, but would try to negotiate for 2. Yet, before the father could start the negotiation for 2 cows, the man spoke up and said he would pay 7 cows for the young maiden. At first, there was complete silence. Then, suddenly, all the elders at the gate began laughing and said to the man, "Are we talking about the same young maiden here?" The man replied, "We are." Immediately, The chief elder spoke up and said, "Never have I seen such a price paid for a young maiden. 3 cows I have seen, yes, and I have heard once about 4. Yet never 7. "Where is the problem then?" replied the man. The chief elder said, "There is no problem. You are just wasting your money." The deal was agreed upon and completed. The man got his young maiden. The father walked away much richer than expected, and the whole town was abuzz. They were all in amazement with what took place as they all watched the man and his new bride leave town that afternoon. It was years later that the man returned with his wife for a visit. When everyone saw her, they hardly recognized her. Even her father was amazed at her. She was beautiful, more beautiful than anyone they had seen. She walked with elegance and spoke as one with much confidence. The father said to the man, "How did you do this? My daughter is a completely different person." The man replied, "No, she is the same. I simply saw what you didn't and gave her what she needed." The moral of the story? He treated her as a queen. He valued her. He made her feel special. He treated her like she was a 7-cow woman. We've all read Proverbs chapter 12, verse 4. "A wife of noble character is her husband's crown, but a disgraceful wife is like decay in his bones." It seems too often this verse is read with the blame falling on the woman. However, what if the cause of her disgracefulness was because of how she had been treated? If one is treated with disrespect, can we not expect that will be what comes from them? However, treat someone with respect. Encourage them. Comfort them. Teach them. Give value to them. Invest into them, and they can't help but grow in those same areas. As Proverbs 18:22 says, "He who finds a wife finds what is good and receives favor from Yahweh." When you find something good, do you just take it for granted? Do you just use and abuse it? Of course not. You take care of it. You tend to it. You give it all the tender, loving care needed. Should we do anything less with the beautiful wife that He has given us? Ephesians chapter 5, verse 25. "Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave Himself up for her, to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with the water through the word, and to present her to Himself as a radiant church, without stain or wrinkle or any other blemish, but holy and blameless. In this same way, husbands ought to love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. After all, no one ever hated his own body, but he feeds and cares for it, just as Christ does the church. For we are members of His body. For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. Invest into your wife. Show her the love she needs. Let her know that you value her more than anything. Remember, marriage is a journey. It's something that we are to be ever growing in. We will never have it down perfect because we ourselves are not perfect. However, that should never hinder us in our pursuit of making our marriage perfect. We should be pursuing to make our marriage perfect constantly. Perfect marriages don't just happen. They take time. They take energy. They take effort. What are you doing to make your marriage perfect? What are you doing to make yourself a king of a queen? We hope you have enjoyed this teaching. Now, it's up to you to be a Berean and study it for yourself. That's the only way to grow. Until next time, Shalom.